Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Bree from With Love Bree, and today I am going to attempt to make some flowers for you guys on camera so that way you guys can see how I created them. I did get asked if I had a tutorial out, which I didn't, but I did say I would try to get one out for you guys if someone did ask. So I'm gonna just get right into it. I did die cut some flowers out already, and if you guys remember from my project share video, I told you guys that I split my die in half so that way I can get, you know, two different patterns or color of cardstock cut out at the same time. Just depends on what you prefer, because as you guys can see, all the big ones are on this sheet and all the small ones are on this one, or well, most of them. So it really just depends if you're really like pinning, or like if you're really like specific on how you die cut certain things, or if you want a different pattern for all of these, then definitely, you know, you can take them apart. Let me actually, I totally forgot to keep the die out. But I was, sorry, working with it. So it's this die right here. As you guys can see, you could take all of these apart, but I just broke mine right in half, and that's how I die cut my flowers. They all turn out the same, so it doesn't really matter to me, but it's really personal preference. Alright, so I was planning on using this watercolor pad that I have in my stash, but I ended up turning to just some pink cardstock, so that way it's not too crazy on camera. But the only thing about that is that my mat is pink, so we'll see how it goes. I did actually, I don't know if you guys remember from my video, but I did show you guys some of the tools that I use, and I did actually find my Sizzix flower making like foam piece. So you know, you can use that, or you can use foam that you have in your craft room. As long as it's like thick, you can even layer up a couple pieces of foam together as well and use that. I'll probably, because of all this pink, I might not be able to use this one, so we'll use this gray one. And I keep them in here. That's why I forgot where I put it, because it was in this container. And then I do have my tools here. I still haven't found this tool, so I'm going to use my baking tools that I have. I mean, you can use any kind of ball pen. If you do your nails and there's a, you know, you have little dotting tools, you can use that. So like this one right here is a We Are Memory Keepers one. It really just depends on what kind of style you're looking for. Obviously you want to use a smaller dotting tool for smaller flowers, so that way you can get a better curl when it comes to creating those. I think this is the one, but okay, I have obviously multiple tools here. So I didn't use this large one because I'm not making really big flowers. Did I need this one? No. Okay, so I don't need any of those other tools for now. But this is another tool that you can use. This is from Sizzix, and it is a flower curling tool. So if you make really large flowers for parties, this is something that you can use. I do use it to like, you know, bend some of my flowers, only if it's a bigger flower. But I wanted to show you guys that tool. I did haul this as well a while ago. But okay, so let's go ahead and just get started. I do use hot glue, but you can use liquid glue if you would like. So I have my hot glue gun here plugged in and ready to go, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. So right here, as you guys can see, I have the different sizes organized by color. And okay, so I zoomed in. I don't know. Oh, no. I think the gray might be a little too dark. It might make it look too it might mess up the lighting, and I don't want to have to adjust anything right now on my camera, just because it's going to take up more time. So I'm just going to flip that around. I chose the wrong color, y'all. This is not it. Okay. So, I mean, I guess it depends on how you make your flower, but it would just be a flat flower like this. And there's nothing wrong with that because it doesn't add too much bulk, but you can glue just the middle of them, and you can even flare out the tops like this, like all the petals. So let me just make one for you guys, so that way you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. I just don't want this video to be too long because flower making can take some time. And then I'm just going to put some glue here. And then I like dimensions, so I would have used dimensionals on these, but I just want to show you how it would look if it was just flat. So here it is flat. Looks like this. Ooh. Right? Not much dimension, but if you want, you can just flare up these ends just a little bit. And just doing this gives your flowers some life. Like I said, you do not have to do this. I'm just going to use my thumbs and my middle finger to kind of put these up a little bit. And you can use whatever you want for the center. You can use a rhinestone. You can use those little styrofoam balls from Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby. Or you can even use seed beads. But you could see there's already dimension on that one. So go ahead and set that one to the side. The first one I'm going to make is this cabbage flower, which is also like a flowering kale. I'm going to make this one because this one is the easiest. Well, all of these flowers are honestly easy. Sorry, I'm just counting the layers. 3, 4, because I do different like kinds of layers for each flower. So for this one, I did do 2 large pieces. So I have 2 large ones. And then I did do 1 medium one, which I'm going to do the light pink. You know what? I think I'm going to do this. I'm just going to alternate them. So put that one back. And then I have a small one too. Like this. So I have a total of 4 layers, but like I said, you could do as many layers as you would like. I just like the space in between. Alright, for this one, if you're using single-sided paper, I do recommend having the pattern paper facing upward. As you can see, I'm using cardstock, so it doesn't really matter. But obviously the one where the embossing is, that's where you're going to want to keep it upward. So I don't know if you guys can see, there's like embossing on here. I'm keeping that going up. And for each of these petals, what you're going to do is, I'll start with the little, oh no, I can't, nope, okay. I'm trying to make this so where you guys are not struggling seeing this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on one petal, right? And what I'm going to do is use my little dotted tool, and I'm just going to go in a circular motion, and I'm going to start kind of like towards the center, maybe an 1/8 of an inch up, and I'm just going to curl around the petal. And I'm just going to keep going until it forms a little bit like this. And then I'm just going to keep going into a U shape like this about like 7 times. Like that. So I don't know if you guys can see how that looks. And if you guys don't already know, but on YouTube you guys can actually zoom in a lot more through your screen. You just need to pinch your screen and then just move it around wherever you need it to be seen. So I don't know if you guys can see the difference, but as you can tell, there's more texture on here and it's more curled up. So what you're going to do is you're going to do that to all of these pieces. And again, you're going to start, let me just show you guys where I start. Like right here. So this is the middle. I go up about like an 1/8 like this, and I curl, 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 and then I just do a U shape. So I'm going to go ahead and do that one more time, and then I'm going to do all of these off camera because they're all going to be the same. So again, do, bam, bam, bam. And it's all up to you on how much you want these to curl up. So you can keep going, you can do less, it's really up to you. Sorry guys. So let me show you guys again so you guys can see. That's what it looks like. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this to all the flowers, every single one of them. For the smaller one, I am gonna use a smaller dotting tool. Oops, I don't know if you guys can see. These are actually for baking, but they're both dotting tools. So I'm going to use the smaller one for the smaller flower. And I'm just going to keep going. And you can just keep holding down onto the petals. I'll do this one here on camera with you guys so that you could kind of see how it looks. When you do the U shape, it really brings in those outer edges towards the center. That really helps it. Doing the little circular motion like this, it breaks the fiber and it causes it to do that little curling effect. Like it kind of crimps the ends to kind of give it that flower petal look. So I'm just going to keep doing that, and then I'm going to go in a U shape. Oop. Oh, my nail tech is calling. I have an appointment tomorrow. I'm not sure why he's calling. Okay, so here is how that looks. So you guys can see the difference. This is a large one without the texture and all the curling, and you could see how much that's given like this flower some life. I already love how it looks. So there's that, and then I guess we can use the larger tool, this one right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that just to kind of go in the center. And what that does is you could see already is kind of already curling upward, right? Just like that. Bam. Cute. Okay, so let me go ahead and do these flowers right here. And then I'll show you guys how I put it together. Okay, so now as you guys can see, they're all curled up. Again, I have 2 large flowers, 1 medium and 1 small one for this, but you can do however many you would like. So as you guys can see, they are curled up and dimensional. You can see the shadows because they're lifted up. So now to put them together, as you guys can see, they're still a little spread out. So this one here is a little more you know, pushed in. So we'll do all that once we've glued it. I think it's just easier to do it while they're a little open, so that way you're not kind of trying to shove something in there. Now, what I'm going to do is take some tweezers, because it's going to help me out a lot. I use reverse tweezers or whatever tweezers that you prefer. And I am going to offset these flowers. So when I glue them down, I'm going to add some hot glue. And I'm going to offset the petals to where this second set of petals are going to go in between where the gaps are. And I am going to use my circle tool here, the bigger one, to push it into the middle. Now, if you're into, you know, making sure that your flowers are all centered, you can actually use a small, do I have mine? Right here. This is, I think, an 1/8 or a 1/16 inch punch. It's 1/16 inch, so it's a really tiny punch. But what you can do is you can actually punch through each of these flowers in the center, and what that will do is when you put these flowers together, you can actually line up those circles every time you layer up, so that way they stay centered. I just kind of go off of it, but when I used to make my little roses, that's what I used to do with my 5 flower petal. I used to actually punch a hole to make sure it's centered. So again, that's up to you if that's what you want to do. I'll just put this away later. Okay, so now onto the second or the third layer. Again, you're just going to offset all these flowers. The reason, or the layers, the reason why you're going to offset them is so that the petals fill in the gaps and they make them look, it makes it look more full. So, okay. And if you don't feel comfortable using a hot glue gun, you can use liquid glue. And now onto the smallest one. Okay, so let me just show you guys. you could see how they're offset. So there's the petal here, there's a petal there, there's a petal here, and you could tell because there's a dark petal, light petal, dark petal, light petal. So you just want to offset them each layer. It's up to you, you don't have to do that, but I do recommend it because it makes it look a little more full. Okay, so now once you get to this point, you can actually put in your center. It's really up to you on what you want to use. I should have grabbed some stuff for the centers, but I didn't. So you can go even further and you can take a smaller one here and actually add another one in the middle if you'd like. But now what you want, what you're going to do is once you have your, center, as you guys can see here, I have the black seed beads. Then you would want to start using your fingers and you just want to create that cabbage looking shape. So I'm literally just pushing the petals all inward. And then you can open them up just a little bit to create the cabbage flower or flowering kale. I know it looks really empty on the middle. It's kind of bothering me. Maybe let's try to use these. I kind of want a dark one just to make it different. If I don't like this, then I'm not using it. But we'll try it out. Let's see. You know what? It gives it something, so I'll just add a little bit of hot glue. That's why I suggest doing it before you close it up, because it'll be easier for you to put in your... Oh, see what I mean? I just dropped it backwards. Oops, it was upside down. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Anyway. Okay. So it looks like this. So there is the flowering kale. And that one is that one right there. And like I said, you could open these up just a little bit so you get a little bit more of those layers showing. Looks like that. Okay, so now that one's done. The next one I'm going to show you guys, which is easy, is this one right here. So for this one, I did use 2 medium ones and 1 large one. So we'll do, again, a large pink one. I have more of these darker ones, so we'll do that. And this one and a smaller one here. All right, so for this one, if you're using pattern paper, you're going to flip your flower around. So again, flip your flower around where the pattern that you want showing on top is actually facing down onto your foam like mat. And what you're going to do is do the same exact curling technique that you did on that last flower. But this time I'm not going to get too crazy. I'm just going to go on the outer edges just a little bit just to give it that like rounded edge, but nothing crazy. I'm not even going to do that little U shape that I showed you guys. I'm just going to go around in a circular motion around the edges. Again, just to give it that curled look. And I'm going to do this. I think I actually used 2 medium-sized ones, so I'm going to grab a medium one. Because this looks like... Sorry guys, I'm trying to remember. Okay, so 2 big ones and a medium one. Okay, so once you have this done, this is again where your pattern paper was facing downward. Now you can flip it over, and as you guys can see, compared to the other one, I had the petals, you know, like rounded on the outer edges. Now this time they're, or like going outward. Now they're going inward. So my flower is actually popping off of the foam instead. So that's how that one looks. Now for these parts, all you do is you just, this one's easy. You just use like a paintbrush or a tool that you have. So depending on how thin you your paintbrushes or whatever tool you're using to do this part right here is how your flower is going to be shaped. So I'm using a really thin paintbrush. I don't know if you guys can see this brush, but I'm going to use the thinner part right here. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but let me use a thicker side here. But I don't know if you guys can tell the difference between this one right here using the thinner part of the paintbrush and this one using the thicker part. As you guys can see, this one is much more rounded and folded, I guess you could say. Sorry, my camera's acting up. So this one right here is a little bit more pointy, and this one's more rounded because this one's more folded because of the thinner paintbrush, and then I use the thicker one here. So for this one, I do want the thicker one because it's a little bit of a emptier flower. But if you choose to do, you know, more layers, then you can. I'm just showing you different ways that you can shape your petals. But I didn't want to just show you guys ways to shape your petals and then not make any flowers. So I figured I would just make the ones that I made, and then you could just use whatever, like, you know, shapes that I use like right now, and then you can make your own type of flower. So there's the other one. I'll show you guys all the ones here in a little bit. So you would want your pattern that you want to show facing upward, and then you want to fold those up. Then for the middle part right here, you're going to do what you did with the flowering kale, and you're just going to curl the edges. And this time you're going to do what you did with the other one, and you kind of want them to be really curly since you're going to have the center kind of going inward. So I am going to do the little U technique, because as you guys can see, that thing brought it up. Ooh, sorry, I'm a mess. But as you guys can see right here, it is way up there. It's like pointing up. So that's basically what you want for this. So I'm just going to keep on going. And I don't know if you guys can see that. Zoom on in, guys. You guys can see everything. My crusty nails and all. Alright, so there we go. And just keep going. Making these flowers, you guys can just like watch a movie and get so many of them done. Just shape your petals however you want them and just start stacking them up if you're not too particular with how your flowers look. Or you can die cut them and then organize them on the kinds of layers that you want, and then just shape them up while watching a movie or a show. And you can get a lot done. Okay, so that's what that's looking like. And then I'm going to take my little, or my big one, this big headed thing, and I'm just going to curl that up. Okay, and I am going to use a smaller one for this to bring it in a little bit more. So this one I'm going to do the same thing. And as you guys can already see, it's already standing up like that. So you could see the different styles of petals already with this one flower. And you see how different they look? So I'm going to do the same thing here, and I'm just going to press down just a little bit. I don't want it to go up too much. Okay, and then I'm going to use my tool here, and I really want this one to be curled up because that one we're going to put in the middle. Okay, so now for layering, you're just going to do the same thing. Offset the petals. Place this one on. This one's easy because it's obviously with this one they're all curled in, but this one it's not. So, and I just push down on it and it kind of pushes into the foam and creates its shape. And then now for this one, I am going to use my tweezers because I don't want to get burnt. And I'm just going to put some hot glue and place that in the middle and make sure the leaves are offset, or the petals, sorry. So cute. Okay. Now let me just, alright. So now what I'm going to do with the center, right, just the center, I'm just going to push these petals in towards the center. Because what that's going to do is it's just going to close it up a little bit. And you can actually use some glue and glue some of these petals together if you want it to stay shut. But I want it to be open like this. So like this. And as you guys can see. So what I mean when you glue the petals is when you push this in like this, you could see that it's closed up like that. You can glue these petals on top of each other. Just use some liquid glue, hold your petals together and add some glue, glue it down, and just keep going all the way around. But I like mine to be open since I like to add a little center to it. So you can go ahead and do that. Let me see if one of these would look cute in there. Again, I should have done this beforehand. So I'm just going to add glue. Do this before you have to scrunch it up in the middle. Because look at this. This thing keeps wanting to... Okay, there we go. Cool. And then you could play with the petals a little bit more if you feel like they need to be lifted up a little bit more, put down. It's up to you. But look at how cute that is. Even just with a rhinestone. So there is flower number 2. Flower number 3, we'll do this one right here. Now I'm just going to show you guys this one. I don't need to really do a tutorial. So if you guys remember this, oh, well maybe I should show you this one. This bottom layer, right? Hello? So this bottom layer right here, where we had the pattern paper facing downward, you just have to do that to 3 different size flowers, or like, yeah, little flower pieces. And you just stack them on top of each other, and that's how you get this one. So literally you take just 3 of these bottom pieces from this last flower that we did, stack them up onto each other, and that's how you get that flower. I just don't think you guys need to see me do that one. Okay, so for this one right here, it's the same thing as the last one, except for this one I did do 3 of these layers. So I did do a large one at the bottom, and then I think let's do a medium one. So we'll do a medium and then 2 smalls. All right, so for this one, again, with the bottom one, you want to get this, face it downward. Now, actually, I don't think I did that for this one. So I'm going to show you guys what I did with this one. So for this, I took again, just a paintbrush, pencil, whatever you want to use that is round. And what I did was I just rolled the petal. So you guys can see here. I took the end of one of the petals with my pattern that I want facing upward, and I rolled it downward just to give it that rounded shape. I didn't use a tool, I just used a paintbrush. Now again, depending on how much you want your petals to roll is really depending on how big or thick your paintbrush is. So I'm using the thinner side, so it's rolling a lot more than you know, I would want, but you could just open it up a little bit. You can even use a bone folder, you guys. You don't even have to roll this. You could just curl it up like that. Okay, so let me show you the difference between the two. So you could see the petals here are rounded on the edge, and then you have a flat one. All right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take each of these pieces, and if you're using pattern paper, you want to make sure your pattern is facing upward. You're going to take your paintbrush, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the thicker part of my paintbrush, pencil, whatever you're going to use. If it's tapered or, you know, smaller on one end and larger on the other, you're going to use the larger side. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll my second layer, which would be your medium piece. I'm going to use the thicker side to fold these petals. So if you guys can see right here, I'm just putting it in the middle of a petal and rolling it up. Petal, fold it up. So this is just like that last flower for the second layer. And the reason why I'm doing the thicker one is because for these two smaller ones, I'm going to be using the smaller end because they're smaller flowers and I want them to be pointier. So I am going to use the thinner side. And I'm literally just folding these using the paintbrush. No special tool. And I'll show you guys the difference. So that, and then same thing with this one. Cool. All right, so now with this one, the bottom layer is going to be obviously the largest one, and then you're going to take your medium one and use your little curling tool. I'm going to use the smaller, or like the medium size one, because it's a medium flower, and I'm just going to curl it up as much as I want. Now it's up to you on how much you want to curl yours up. I'm not going to do too much for this one since it's the second layer, but for the third layer I'm going to do it a little bit more, which is this one right here, the darker pink. So if you guys can see, it's going to start curling upward. I'm just going to keep going until it's about right there. And then this one right here, I'm going to go all in. I'm just going to keep it going until it curls all the way up into the center. Okay. Okay, that's good enough for me. All right, so this is how these ones look. Oop, stand up. So as you guys can see, this one's a little bit more wider. And then this one right here, these ones are a lot pointier, and I just started to kind of make more circles to kind of tighten it up, like tighten up the flower. So as you guys can see, it gets smaller and smaller towards the inside. So now gluing these down, and take the medium sized one, and I'm going to offset the petals and glue it down. Again, push it down, and this will help give your flower more shape. Okay, now for this one, this is one of the smaller ones, the one that's not curled as much. You can already kind of see it taking shape. And then this one right here. So I'm going to go ahead and now kind of help my flower form. So this is the flower I'm doing. Now for these petals, I like to, I don't know if you guys can see this, but these petals here, I like to have one petal underneath and one petal over. So this one right here. So that way they're a little more organized. So under, over, under, over. And you're going to have one that I think is like over, over. This is why I don't do flower tutorials, you guys. So if you guys can see this one and how it's organized. So it looks like that. Now for this one, I'm just going to take my nails and just, or your fingers, and just kind of shape it how you want it. And again, you can add your center. Let's do a light pink one. I think I'm gonna have to go with this small one. And then I am gonna add one here since I'm doing it to every other one. I might as well. And we'll do yellow. Oop. Bam. Just like that. Okay. So again, depending on what kind of centers you use, they're going to look different. How pretty. Okay. And then the last one right here. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to take two big ones. Let's do two of, well, obviously I'm gonna have to do opposite. And then, did I do two big ones? Yeah. And then a medium one. And did I do a small one here? Let's see. So two big ones, a medium one, and a small one. Now for this one's really easy. So for the bottom layer, you're gonna keep your pattern that you want showing facing upward. Well, I guess all of these. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your paintbrush, and I'm gonna again use the thicker side of it, and I'm gonna fold my petals upward around the paintbrush. So place your paintbrush in the middle of the petal and go up. So I'm gonna do that to all of these using the thicker end, because since this is the bottom of my flower. And then for the second layer, I'm going to use the same thicker end, but this time I am going to place my paintbrush down at the bottom. Now, I like to flip my paper around, so whatever you want your pattern to be, you want it facing downward. And I'm going to do the same thing, use the same thick end, and fold my petals over the paintbrush with the pattern facing down. First layer, the pattern was facing up. This time it's facing down because you want the petals to be the opposite. So if you guys can see here, your pattern is facing up with the petals folding upward. This one, your pattern paper now is facing up, but your petals are going downward. So you would want to flip it and fold so that way it's easier. Okay, and then you're going to do the opposite. So now that we went up, down, you're going to go up again. This time I'm using my thinner side of the paintbrush, and not everyone has like a paintbrush or a paintbrush that I'm using, so just use what you have, whatever kind of rounded shape you have. If you have something that's a little bit thicker and one that's thinner, you can use those two items. It does not have to be a paintbrush. But okay, so now I have this one which is going up, and now I'm going to do the same thing. The pattern I want facing up, I'm going to face down for now, and I'm going to use my small end and fold my petals. Alright, and now flip it over, and now it's going to be facing downward. So this is what it looks like. Again, you can tell the difference between the flower petals, and all we're going to do is use our roll tool and just roll them up a little bit. Make them look a little more alive. I'm going to use a smaller one here and go towards the middle and kind of bring them up a little bit more. And this last one, I'm going to do it again and just kind of bring it a little bit more. Okay, so this is what they look like. So you can see these ones are just brought up a little bit higher. Sorry guys, Kalea's cooking. So, alright, now I'm going to, I do want this one to be a little bit more curled up, so I'm just going to use my smaller one. Okay, there we go. Flatten this out a little bit. Alright, so again, I'm going to use my tweezers for this one. Use this. And offset it. Now this is a perfect view of an offset right here. This is what I mean when I say offset. You can even do a flower like this. But as you guys can see, they're opposite, so it's going facing upward, the petal's going down, and you got it going up, down. Looks really cute. And then we're going to go ahead and do this one right here, the next one. Put some glue in the middle. And another offset. So this one's going to match up with the bottom layer now. Wrong tool. And the last layer, this is going to match up with the other dark pink layer. And drop that in the middle. Sorry guys, I really hope you guys use that feature on YouTube to bring in closer, because I don't want you guys hating on me for not having this close enough. Okay, so now this is what it looks like. How pretty is this flower? And for the middle, oh, I think I went the opposite. Oh, snap. What did I do wrong? Okay, this is going up and down. Oh, I did the second petals going down. Okay, well, you know what? Like I said, you can do different things with these flowers. Sorry guys, I don't even know where my camera like cut me off, but basically as you guys can see, I did opposites here, but for this one, the bottom layer, I had the petals folded going up, and then I had the second and third layer going folded down, and then this middle, or this last one, which is the fourth one, I had it getting folded inward. So obviously, you know, you could do different things, but this is what they look like. And let me go ahead and just put a center, because like I said, everybody's flowers are going to be different. It's really just up to how you choose to put, or like create your flowers. You do not have to make them the way that I do. I think it's cool if people make their own variations of flowers, but I just wanted to show you guys kind of how I shape mine, I guess. So that way you guys kind of have some ideas on how you can shape your flowers and what tools you can use. Obviously, I just use what I have. As you guys can tell, I mean, I'm using baking tools. This is an actual tool from Sizzix if you guys want to get it. This is a nail tool. And these are just some tweezers that I have in my stash. But if you guys get the Sizzix tool, it comes with everything you need. It even comes with the foam, and it comes with the tool to make your leaves little veins and stuff. So that's really cool too. But okay, let me go ahead and just show you guys how these look, because I want you guys to get a closer view of these flowers. So these are the ones that we made today. How pretty are these? To kind of, you know, decorate these, you can do whatever you would like. If you guys know me, I do love diamond dust, so I probably am going to add diamond dust since I didn't use pattern paper this time around. So all we do is, I'll show you guys one, is, ooh, I put it, let's see, what would it look cute on? I think it'll look cute on this one, honestly. So I'm just going to put my glue on the edges of the flower, like this. And you don't have to put them on every single, you know, petal. That's up to you. I am, however, just so that way it's all glittered up. Because like I said, I didn't use pattern papers, so they don't look too plain, but they also don't look very colorful or sparkly. Sorry guys if I'm not in frame. I'm literally just gluing the ends here. I just like to dip it into mine. I mean, I don't suggest doing that because you can get glue everywhere. Possibly chunks of the stuff in there, but oh well. So here it is, and I'm just going to give it a quick little bath in the diamond dust, and then just shake it off. And then I'm just going to use, oof, this right here and do the last one. You can use your tweezers too for this part. Cute. Alright. Oh. So let me just show you guys what it looks like with all that glitter. The only thing about this is that, you know, it has to dry. So right now you're seeing the white from the glue, but once it dries, you'll have like this really pretty shine on the flowers. So again, you can use whatever you want for the centers. It's really up to you, but this time around I did use rhinestones, and the last time when I did these, I used seed beads. So really just depends what you're looking for, or what you're going for, I guess. But there they are. I hope that you guys found this video helpful. I know it was all over the place. I am not one to do flowers on camera. I just feel like these are things that I do just like when I am not really inspired and I just honestly can't be in my craft room. So I'm hoping that, you know, it helped you guys or inspired you guys. Even if you guys are a little confused on how I put my flowers together, I'm just hoping that the way that I shaped them kind of helped you, you know, figure out how you can shape yours and you can create your own variations of flowers. If you guys haven't seen the project share, I will make sure to leave it linked down below, as well as an affiliate link for Scrap Diva Design Shop. It is a free link for you to use. However, I do make a small commission from it to help my channel out. So if you guys want to use that, you guys can. But I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope that it helped. If it did, leave a comment down below. I love reading your guys' comments. Sometimes, like when I see it, I can't just be on there and then like heart them all. I wish I could, but my kids just own my life. Like they have all my phones, my iPad, everything. So, yeah, I wish I could just heart everything. But, there it is, you guys. I hope that you guys have a great day, whatever day it is that y'all are watching this, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.